this is Rex with edition number 8 of Petanque Points Podcast, coming to you from the beautiful studios of Universal Exports and still incarcerated in Lockdown 6.0. Keeping on trend of being exciting, interesting, mysterious and educational, this time we cover different methods in a threesome, which of course leads us into the last of the 7 deadly sins. Gerry's the exploding Boule, a quiz question with an answer. Meet 2 new clubs. Check out a master's entrance, foot faulting, the latest of the Great Australian Distant Petanque Challenge, how petankers are getting their fix in lockdown, and more. There is a new petanque club starting up in Melbourne metro area. I caught up with Vikas, the spokesman for Fusion Petanque Club, who gave me some insights into what is involved. Vikas, you become affiliated with the PFA with a new petanque club called Fusion. I'm very interested in that personally because you're not very far from where I am. But tell me, how did this come about and why did you find the need to start up a new petanque club?
Actually, we all friends like me, Jason, Frederick, Meme, we decided we want something of our own.
Right. And how did the name Fusion come?
The fusion, because it's lots of nationality on that. It's not only one sort of community.
Fantastic. The names you mentioned, of course, most people would know those, particularly here in Victoria. You guys are all up there as some of the more elite players, let's say. Does that mean that I couldn't join your club?
Yeah, you can join anytime if you want. Not a problem, because that's
the main reason we created that for everyone.
Yeah, cool. And at this stage, you don't have a home base. You don't have a petanque piste anywhere.
No, we're still looking for something.
And obviously you're hoping that to be in the area of Springvale South or something.
Yeah, we are trying to something in Noble Park, Queensborough, somewhere there.
Okay, and have you been successful so far?
No, we're just trying to write something to council. It's hard right now.
And speaking about hard, was it hard to actually set up a petanque club? How do you go about it? You're affiliated with the PFA. Does that mean you also have to become involved with the Victorian VPCI?
It's very easy. You just create an account, incorporated account with a current affair.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just log in onto the PFA site and then you just create a club there.
Just like that. Terrific.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Right, very good. And at this stage, how many members do you have?
We have 13.
13?
Yeah.
That's excellent. And is that a 50-50 mix, males, females?
I think we have only 3 female right now.
Are you hoping to make it a large club or are you happy with that sort of size?
No, we want at least 30, 35.
Okay. I have some friends in that area there that are Mauritian. There are a lot of Mauritians in that area and they usually are very involved in petanque. So I guess you would probably be marketing out to them.
Not really much.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, we are trying to get more mixer. We already have 5 or 6 Mauritian already.
Okay, well, Look, I might come along and knock on your door and say, can I become a member? That'll mix it up a little bit for you.
Yes.
I might drag the quality of your playing down, though, so I might have to get a bit better before I do that.
No, but you can join us anytime. It's not a problem.
Okay, and is it expensive to join your club?
And right now, we don't have a ground, so we cannot charge anyone anything.
Oh, that's cool. But being affiliated with PFA, of course, I guess that means you're covered with insurance.
Yeah, we are covered.
Excellent. Obviously, we're all in lockdown, so it makes it very, very, very difficult at the moment to do anything. But when are you expecting that you actually will have a club or a premises or a piste and be able to get up and running?
Right now, we are going to use Caulfield as our facility.
Oh, fantastic. Yep.
For competition, but after that, till we get our own.
Right, yep. Lockdown aside, how many days a week and when would that be?
It will be 3 days a week.
Okay, what days?
Yeah, we are planning right now Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Right.
So those are 3 days we want to lock in.
Terrific.
Yeah, because what happened? We have all elite players. You need more training. It's not you cannot train one day and you expect to win anything.
Exactly, yeah. Will you be planning to be putting on competitions for other clubs to come and join and play against you, of course?
Yes. We are taking half of the Caulfield Petanque Club's competition. So they will keep half, we take their half.
Fantastic. I'm very pleased that you've done that. Hope it goes well for you. And the sooner that you get a piece, the better, I guess. But being able to play at Caulfield is pretty good. I think that's an excellent move, yeah.
Yeah, so if ever you have anything, just let us know. We'll see if any of the pistes available or around Noble Park.
Sure.
Or anyone is happy to share their list with us.
Well, we've certainly put a note out with Petanque Points podcast to see if anybody out there can help as well. But
yeah,
I'll keep my ears to the ground and look out for you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, Vic, thanks very much for your time today and good luck with it and congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. We have another new club to present you a little later. In the meantime, how are you getting your petanque fix during these lockdowns? Some are spending way too much time watching old matches on YouTube, while other petanquistas are coping in a more creative ways, and yet others not at all. Here's Boule.
Well, I'm unhappy to say that I'm not playing petanque. We do have a driveway next to our property where some years ago, we did play a bit, but we haven't done it. And we're just waiting for the lockdown to finish. We're just nesting in our house.
I asked Billy if she was spending time on her home piste.
Not so much this lockdown, but certainly last lockdown. And the Boule have been dragged out of the cupboard and have been thrown a couple of times. But it's an excellent little piste for your short game. And Matt and I both play cutthroat short games.
All of these home petanque pistes have their own little difficulties. And yours is not particularly wide, and you have areas where it's a bit of a challenge. What would they be?
Well, certainly, I suppose you could categorise it as open terrain.
Yes.
I'll say where the circle is the narrowest part, and that is between the fence and the hot water service.
and that would be what, 25 metres?
Long.
No, wide.
60 centimetres maximum.
How many?
60 centimetres.
My goodness. So you have to be accurate.
It has improved my ability to throw straight because Max is ruthless when it comes to scoring. If you touch the fence, you're out.
So you've got the fence on one side, you've got a hot water system on the other side.
And at the end is the shed. And that's strictly out of bounds. You're not allowed to touch Max's shed. You can do little bits of lobs, but you can't get too excited about that.
And how often do you get out there, Billy?
Look, as I said, this time we haven't really got out much because the weather hasn't been terrific, but I have this week gone out there 2 or 3 times.
And this is Michael's solution.
Well, we haven't really, but we compensate. We've got a patch of lawn, and from the concrete, we throw from the concrete onto the lawn.
I would suggest you wouldn't have much of a lawn left by now then.
No, it's got lots of little golf ball indentations in it, yeah.
And I asked Paul what he did. Do you have a petanque practicing area somewhere?
We've got it's sort of like a public park, but there's a scout hall on it down near Canterbury Station.
Right.
And all it's got is like a blue metal surface. If you can imagine, it's their driveway going into the scout hall. A few times we've gone down there with it. Oh, well, it's not flat, but it's a reasonable area. And if you can think of the how the pistes were, the ones with the blue metal at the club,
yep.
They're probably 10 times worse than that. There's great big lumps of blue metal. But, you can get there and you can throw them down, and it's better than nothing. But we've only probably been down there a couple of times. Can't do it in lockdown, though.
It's a bit too far, isn't it?
I think it's one of those ones where you're not really supposed to be doing that sort of thing out there. So, yeah. I suppose you could call it exercise, but yeah.
I would, but yeah, I don't want to risk the $5,500 either. Thanks, Board, Billy, Michael and Paul. If you've got a home piece and you'd like to tell us about it, let me know on audiorexy.com. That's audiorexy.com. know there are a lot of players out there that would prefer to play with 3 boules in club games and not just 2, as can happen with some draws where you may have a triple plays a double scenario. The answer may be to play in a threesome match. There are many ways to play 3-way games. Here are just a few. But before starting the game, the players decide what the winning score will be. It can be 13 or anything you like. But 26 can make working your deltas a little easier. Decide the order of play at the beginning of the game and use it for the whole game. At the beginning of the end, the order of play can be determined by each player's score or by who won the previous end. Cutthroat is basically singles with 3 players. Scoring is the same as in normal petanque. Only one player scores point at the completion of the end. The player with the closest boule wins and scores points in the same way as normal petanque. 21, or 1, 2, 3, is similar to cutthroat, but scored differently. The closest boule scores 3 points, the second closest boule scores 2 points, and the third closest boule scores 1 point. This is a favourite way to play the 3-way game. It is traditionally played to 21 points, hence the name. Now here's a challenge. 2 jacks. 2 jacks is similar to regular petanque, but is played with 2 jacks. When a player throws a jack, he takes 2 jacks in hand and throws them both simultaneously with the same throw. Using jacks of different colours makes it easier to talk about the situation on the ground. I'm sure it does. As in, Michael has 1 point on green and Annette has 2 points on yellow. After the jacks are thrown, the players are basically playing 2 games simultaneously. Each boule is capable of scoring against each jack. After all boules have been thrown, 1 jack is examined and one of the players is awarded points against that jack in the normal way. Then the other jack is examined and one of the players is awarded points against that jack in the normal way. Playing to a winning score of 21 points seems to work best. Is that 21 points on each jack? Typically, one player scores points against one jack while another player scores points against the other jack. It is even possible for the same boule to score against both jacks. Well, after that threesome, maybe we should turn to the 7 deadly sins. Thanks again to Ray Ager from the Anglia Petanque Association for all these. Number 7. Shall we have a game? The sociable sinner. Shall we play? Asks the sinner. No, let's practice, says the winner. Of course, most petanque players enjoy having a game. The danger is that you never practice and develop your own game, remaining at a plateau. This is a real danger if you only ever play with the same group of players and always on the same terrain. Practicing the basics, rolling, half lob, high lob, aiming for a landing spot, shooting boule, are important to help develop consistency in your play and to become an all-round player, capable of pointing or shooting as the game requires. You can use social games to practice, ideally in consultation with your teammates. If you mainly point, practice shooting instead. If you mainly play rolling shots, play lobbing shots instead. If you usually play short ends, play long ends instead, etc. However, games won't always give you the opportunity to practice all the different shots. Sometimes it's a good idea to spend 20 minutes practicing one type of shot. For example, playing between 2 blocking boule, or spinning around an obstacle, shooting a back boule, etc. There are lots of different skills and drills that you can use to provide a fun and varied practice program. It doesn't have to be deadly dull. Why not devise a set of club standards for pointing and shooting and award gold, silver and bronze medals to players who meet the targets? It's fun to have a Best Player award and the Most Improved Player. Best Newcomer and similar categories offer everybody the way to succeed. Simon caught up with Gerry with more of his facts and fancies in Gerry's Trivia Corner. G'day, Gerry.
Good evening, Rick. So I was going to talk to you this week about kissing Fanny and the tradition behind that. You covered that fairly recently.
Yeah.
I came across an interesting story regarding supermarket boule, the cheaper sort of boule that you can pick up. They're often called recreational boule, as opposed to the certified FIP JP boule.
Yep.
In any case, the story, it was a French newspaper reporting on a story on an incident that happened in Germany in 2016 in the town of Nettital, which is in West Germany, not very far from Dusseldorf. So apparently a group of neighbours were celebrating together, and they erected a marquee and were playing Petanque inside the marquee. And all was going well until one of the Boule that they were playing with exploded. And it was actually quite a violent explosion. It apparently left a crater in the ground and blew a hole through the roof of the marquee.
My goodness.
And so obviously they stopped playing. They called the police, they called the fire brigade, who attended the scene immediately. And neither of these two groups knew enough or felt comfortable enough to look too closely at these Petanque Boules. So they ended up calling in the sappers from the local military barrack, which would have been in Dusseldorf. And the sappers took everybody's Boule away, and they ended up destroying them all in a controlled explosion.
My goodness.
Now, the interesting thing about this is that in 2009, something similar had happened in Switzerland. Again, some recreational Boule bought in a supermarket had exploded. In neither case, I should say, was anybody hurt. So
Amazing, but good.
amazing but good, that's right. It could have been a tragedy otherwise. But the incident in Switzerland in 2009 had resulted in the Boule being analysed in a state laboratory. The official finding was that, like most recreational Boule, they're not hollow inside. So most recreational Boule, as you know, they often have sand or some other filling to make up the weight. These ones had been filled with mortar. The mortar, when it had been put inside the Boule, was wet, obviously, and the mixture of the wet mortar, the lime, and the iron filings which were inside the Boule had caused a chemical reaction which resulted in hydrogen being produced. You see where it's going?
This doesn't sound like a great mixture to me.
No, and so they've been producing hydrogen, at whatever rate since manufacture, and it got to the point eventually where the pressure buildup was so great that they exploded. Very similar, presumably, to the way a grenade might explode.
Oh, my goodness. And nobody was hurt. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing, especially when you consider, a social game and people inside the marquee, and there'd be probably food and drinks in there.
The lesson, of course, is obviously you buy proper Boule, not the ones at the supermarket.
Yes, that's right. The lesson is about false economies, and I suppose it kind of feeds in as well to looking at what constitutes a proper Boule and the reasons why they have the proper Boule. And
Indeed.
of course, I mean, I wouldn't want to put anyone off buying cheap recreational Boule. This batch was pulled from circulation probably the very next day, so you can't buy these ones anymore.
Which is a very good thing indeed. It reminds me, I've got a set of recreational Boules somewhere too, so I might just check where they were made, I think, if I can find that out.
Well, you could always get a drill with a very small bit and just make a little hole, but
that could set the explosion off.
that actually could, yeah. Yes, good point. Yeah, don't listen to me, Rex.
That's brilliant, Gerry. Thank you for that. This leads a little bit onto something I covered a little while back, and it was about exploding Boules. And I invite anyone to go back to the previous broadcast and have a listen. It was brought about by people believing that if you warm the Boules up, somehow they perform better. And so people were boiling them and all sorts of things until they exploded.
It's funny you should mention that because I actually have heard about that. My understanding is that it relates to the hardness of the steel.
Mm-hmm.
And that with the certified Boule, the manufacturers state what the hardness of the steel, so it's either semi-soft, soft. And so people consider that, for instance, if you're a shooter, there's an advantage in semi-soft.
Right.
Because if you do, it'll give you more carol if you hit another Boule. You won't bounce off.
I'm with you, yep.
Quite as much. The idea is that if you can re-temper the Boule such that you can make them softer, and so it's a form of cheating,
yes.
Usually.
Well, I can understand it. And the few times between lockdowns coming through this Melbourne winter where we've been able to have a few games, I can tell you there's a couple of times where I've thought about warming the Boule up as well. They've been, if they...
Yes, that's quite right, Rick. And a lot of the clubs actually, certainly in the country, the clubs have braziers, so you put a few logs in. And most of these braziers are made of old oil drums or the cores from washing machines,
Yes, I'm with you.
What people do is they weld on little Boule holders onto the side.
Grief.
But this is not for cheating. This is just so that when you pick your Boule up in the cold winter, your fingers don't freeze.
That's actually a brilliant idea. I might try and introduce that into our club.
Oh, it's a fantastic idea, yes, because as you know, in the middle of winter, you're holding onto your Boule, and then after a little while, you can't feel your fingers.
That's right. Exactly. No, that's a good idea.
So all you need to find is somebody with some basic welding skills.
Oh, yeah, we've got people that can do that.
You're halfway there, then.
All right, Gerry, look, once again, thank you so much, and hopefully we can get another one of these done. That'll be just terrific.
Okay, Rex. Yeah.
Thanks, Gerry.
Yeah.
You take care.
Good luck. Thanks, Rex. Bye-bye.
Bye now. I mentioned at the top of the show of two new clubs starting out. The new one for Tasmania is Petanque Launceston. I got to talk with Jenny Harding, the creator of the club, about the startup. Jenny, I'm actually looking at a map of Launceston at the moment, or Launceston?
Launceston, they pronounce it, yes.
Launceston. Us Northern Islanders never get things right like that. Jenny, so where are you?
At the moment, our main focus, of course, is getting somewhere to play.
Oh, right. You don't have a place yet?
We have access to a private piste because our treasurer has access to this private piste that's been set up at a retirement village that she lives at. But, of course, that doesn't help with membership, as you can understand.
Sure.
Because you can't really just go there and just play without having somebody from the resident with you for risk management, etc. So, yes, it is a bit of betwixt and between, you know, the horse before the cart.
Sure.
But we have spoken with the City Council here, and they've been helpful as much as they can. But I guess it's the same with most councils. You know, they don't have a lot of money, and, of course, we're in our infancy, so neither do we. So it's like, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's really our main focus at the moment.
Right.
We're slowly gathering members. You know, we've got a few people coming along to play and they're interested, and we're trying to establish contact with various other organisations to try and attract people to the game who haven't played. But, that's where we are really at the moment, Rex. So we're hoping to have somewhere to play permanently and establish PIS within the next month.
Oh, excellent.
So that's our focus. Then after that, we can go on a membership drive.
Let me jump back a few places then, Jenny, if I may. Where did the idea of starting this club come from?
But just from my own experience, I was a member of the Prospect Petanque Club in Adelaide for a number of years when I lived there for work.
I see.
So I played over there and was introduced to the game over there, and it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. It's a really, as you know, it's a really good social game,
and it's addictive too.
Oh, well, it is, you know. When you move around with work, you're always looking for some way to sort of, you know, get to know people and have some sort of social interaction. So it was really good for me personally. The people were so welcoming and the game was, you know, as you said, enjoyable and addictive.
Okay, that's where you came from. You're in Launceston at the moment, so you said, I know, I'll start a petanque club.
Yeah, so when I first came here, which was back in 2017, I retired, and I did speak to the council then, but of course there was only me interested at that stage. So I didn't really know anybody as such who was interested. But then I joined a women's organisation here, and a few people came out of the woodwork. Hence, we started playing together at the beginning of this year when this private piece became available. So it's sort of evolved from there, really.
Is this why, at this stage, that you're a ladies-only club at the moment?
Oh, no, we're not a ladies-only club. No, I think it's just at this moment, that's all we've got. It's not no, we have a once-a-month picnic and petanque up at Trevellyn Dam. There's an area up there we play just in the rough. You know, a lot of people come along, members and guests, male and female. But we have got an area that we're playing at the moment. The City Council has said we can play there, but of course we don't have ownership of it and we won't be able to create a proper piste as such there because there is no access to get trucks in for gravel and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
So we do play there.
Right.
It's in a fairly busy area, so we're getting signage done.
Oh, great.
And we're hoping that, by putting up one of those teardrop signs.
Yep.
And playing there regularly on the weekends, it will attract people. So that's one way of getting them in. And, of course, word of mouth is always the best too.
So how many members do you have at the moment then, Jenny?
Well, we've got 6 paid-up members at the moment,
Right.
and we've got another 4 people playing with us who we're hoping are going to join. So we're offering a social membership so people can come along and just have a game if that's what suits them. And then we're offering, like a competitors membership whereby they get the licence with the PFA.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more expensive, but we pay for that.
Yep.
And they can come along and pay at competitions.
Excellent. It sounds really like you on the track.
We incorporated the club in June of this year. So we established our committee and our constitution and put everything together. Then we started looking for somewhere to play on a permanent basis to accommodate members.
Jenny, if people do want to get in touch with you or join you...
Well, they can find us on Facebook. That's the first thing. It's Petanque Launceston.
Petanque Launceston, okay.
So if they just put that in. I put Petanque first because I figured, well, they'll be looking for Petanque. So if they do that, they can definitely find Petanque Launceston. We should come up. Our email address is petanque.launceston@gmail.com.
All right, Jenny, look, that's covered just about everything you'd like to tell us.
No, that's great.
Jenny, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, stay well and hopefully you'll be out soon.
Congratulations on all your efforts. That's just brilliant. You take care now.
Thanks again, Rex. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Whilst we're on overseas topics, but still locked down, I can recommend a YouTube video of the Finale Rocher versus Italy Masters de Petanque 2021 at Théon-le-Vosges. Now, if you look closely, you might see Dylan Rocher, the shoot master, lift his foot and move before the Boule has landed. Unusually for Dylan, it was actually a miss, but everyone is so intent on watching the Boule, they miss the foot fault. Let me know at audiorexy.com if you think I'm wrong. Speaking of rules and regulations, I have once again called upon the PFA Chairman of Umpires, David Shaw, for a reading on a very interesting situation.
Hello, Rex.
David Shaw, here is the scenario. Two players are playing singles. They're on the second end. The first player throws. He's pretty close to the jack. Second player throws. He's closer to the jack than the first. So the first player throws again. In so doing, he not only hits the jack, but he hits the other boules in such a manner that the jack is forced to go up into the air. The three boules that are now on the ground all become in contact and remain in contact, and the jack ends are right in the middle of the three boules sitting together. The jack remains there, it doesn't go on the ground, it is sitting on top of three boules. I have three questions for you. Is the jack dead or alive? B, assuming the jack is dead, which player plays the next boule and why? And C, assuming the jack is alive, which player plays the next boule and why? Or tell me what happens next, in any case.
Well, thank you for that question, Rex. The answer to A is that the jack is alive. Therefore, the answer to B is that I don't need to answer because the jack is alive.
Fair enough.
C, what happens next? What you have now is that the person who played the last boule has created a tie in terms of position.
Right.
Because the boules are equidistant from the jack.
Yep.
That person who has created the tie on the ground, even though it's not on the ground, it's suspended on the boules, plays again. If the tie still remains, the other person or team then plays and you alternate until you break the tie.
Okay.
So the person who creates the tie plays again and then alternate play to break the tie.
Well, so that was pretty simple. I was expecting long-winded and great deal of difficulty here and fights and arguments over rules and regulations. I like that answer. That's very good.
Creating the tie, you don't hold the point, right? Nobody holds the point, but you don't hold the point, so you play again. That's kind of the underlying principle to it. The basis is that in the case of there being a tie for position,
yep,
you can see that everything is touching, or even with the aid of feeler gauges and torches, the poor old umpire is unable to to separate them. It's a tied position, and the side or person plays again, and then you alternate to break the tie.
Even if the jack wasn't touching the boules, if it ended up that the jack's on the ground and two boules are, let's say, exactly 30 centimetres each way,
yep,
So it is a draw.
It's a tied position.
Tied position.
Yeah.
So that player who played last would still play again.
Yes, and then alternate. Touching just means that it's equidistant.
Yes.
But more easily judged to be equidistant.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, that's right, because you keep playing until you hold the point.
Yeah.
If you're not holding the point, because in this case it's a draw, then you play again.
Yeah, gotcha.
But the difference is because it's an equidistant situation, then you alternate. You don't keep playing until you break the tie.
I'll let you go and get back to all of that stuff you've got to sort out from Echuca or wherever it was. Thank you very, very much for your time and your wisdom and knowledge in this particular area. And I'm satisfied now. I think I can handle that. Not that I've ever come across that situation, but when I am, I'm armed now.
As we did discuss when you showed me that picture, I said, well, in the first case, Rex, obviously one of the bulls was a social bull, so it wasn't a proper game anyway. There'd be no umpire there.
Yeah, I was a bit embarrassed about that myself. I thought, what the hell have they done that for? Look, thank you so much once again. We'll catch up, and we've got to catch you up on the piece.
Absolutely.
All righty. Okay, David.
Cheers, Rex. You be safe, mate.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye now. Wow, just love that. Oh, and just to clarify further for those that thought that Jack was dead because it was not on the piste itself, the rules say that Jack must be within the boundaries of the piste to remain live. It doesn't matter if it's not actually in contact with the ground. So you can't tell me you don't learn anything from Petanque Points podcast. Hurricane Heinz and Gentle Jenny, where are they, I hear you ask? Jenny and Heinz have embarked on an Across Around Australia challenge tour to play on the most difficult and remote places they can find. They had been racing just ahead of lockdowns along the way, having to do their 14 days wait before the next leg, etc. Well, they finally made it to Kununurra. They finally made it to Western Australia after playing petanque on the Murray River, at the base of Uluru, and many places in between. And now they look to be in luxury at Lake Argyle. The last report was that Heinz is still in the lead.
Jen didn't do particularly well. I think I might have let her win one game out of 3 or 4 or something.
Well, we've got to this point again, a petanque point. Make a threesome when you can. Watch out for exploding Boule. Drop in on new clubs when you can. Make a piste. And look out for Jenny and Heinz if you're on the road. If you'd like to contribute to Petanque Points podcast, contact me, Rex, at audiorexy.com. That's audiorexy.com. Rex out.
You're a good man, Rex.